On August 24, 2022, President Biden announced a student loan relief plan that would aim to eliminate parts of student borrowers' debts.
Instead of properly funding public colleges, many states have cut back their support. We're just talking about that in the Oval. Many states have cut back support for their state universities, leaving students to pick up more of the tab. And for 50 years, Pell Grants had been a key way for the federal government to help lower-income families, particularly those earning less than $60,000 a year, to send their kids to college. Those Pell Grants used to cover 80% of the cost of going to a public four-year college. Today, Pell Grants cover roughly 32%. That's 1/3 of the cost as opposed to before.
Reporters from the Californian have mixed opinions about this policy, as some see it as a great initiative towards a widespread problem, others see it as a poorly thought out plan.
With the cost of college tuition in America being on a continuous rise, most people are required to take out loans just to attend a four-year university. Biden's loan forgiveness plan is a big step towards making college more accessible for many Americans. The average tuition for a four-year public university is almost $30,000. This makes it nearly impossible for students coming from middle or lower class backgrounds to attend university without taking out any loans. Biden's plan not only benefits those who are currently paying back student loans, but also has aspects that will benefit students who plan to take out loans to attend college in the future. Less than half of Americans are able to graduate from a four-year public institution without any debt, and those who do have debt are averaging about $25,000. Biden's plan targets debt relief at graduates who receive the Pell Grant, which are mostly lower-income citizens. The plan has the ability to relieve 43 million people in up to $20,000 of student debt. While it also helps current borrowers by forgiving their loans, it also makes the loan system more accessible for future borrowers. Biden's plan reworks the way monthly payments are calculated from the borrower's income and makes them more manageable for those who plan to take out loans. Biden also plans to forgive loans of less than $20,000 after 10 years as opposed to the current 20 years it takes for them to be forgiven. In the future, Biden and his administration plan to protect borrowers from the ongoing increase in college attendance costs. Biden recently signed the largest increase to the maximum Pell Grant in over a decade, providing colleges with nearly $40 billion to keep costs lower, as well as provide students with more aid. The plan as a whole can provide relief for many Americans currently paying back loans, as well as create a more accessible path to four-year education for future Americans.
Almost every policy looks great on the surface, but it is when you dive deep into the specific details that you truly discover the implications a poorly designed policy can have and at whose expense. Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, while on the surface might seem like a valiant effort to solve an ongoing student debt crisis, is actually nothing more than a scam that doesn't address the root source of the problem while just being morally wrong. First up, what becomes abundantly clear is that this policy is aimed at tackling student debt, not student tuition. Now, that might seem like an obvious distinction, but looking closely at Biden's policy reveals that this plan is primarily focused on solving student debt. But you see, the reason why most college-going Americans are in debt is because of the astronomical costs of college tuition. Colleges, including both private and public schools, are simply more expensive than what they used to be. But this policy doesn't do anything to limit college tuition. To add on, the primary reason for this rapid increase in tuition is because of government-provided loans. Ever since the implementation of the Higher Education Act, college tuition has grown almost exponentially, which in turn has led to higher student debts. Therefore, the only way to really solve the student debt crisis is to do something about college tuition, which is not what this plan does. Now to the morality of this plan. To put it simply, it is not moral for someone who didn't go to college, like a plumber or electrician, to pay for someone that is going to college. After all, it is the taxpayer that will be footing the bill for this plan. Plus, this plan does not at all consider what one might be majoring in. So in theory, one could major in anything from theater, arts to engineering and then have the taxpayer pay for all of it. And finally, what many people fail to realize is that higher education is not a right. It is a choice that individuals make given their circumstances and what they believe will make them better off. And while some might choose to go to college to pursue their passions or get a start in their career, it shouldn't come at the expense of those who didn't go to college.